Ah, the tier list. No competitive game would be complete without one. Since the dawn of time, humans have been making tier lists. In this video, we'll be going over the latest Smash Ultimate tier list and try to give you guys the rundown on the best, worst, and most notable characters before it all changes in a few hours. But seriously, in a few weeks we'll probably need to make another video, and while you're waiting for that, check out ProGuides.com for an updated Smash tier list and guides with your favorite pro players. A fighter's spot on the Ultimate tier list is decided by how likely they are to win a big tournament. This usually involves competitions at the highest level possible, where every strength is leveraged and every weakness is exploited. The most reliable tier lists combine pro tier lists and tournament results. You'll see on Pro Guides we also go a step further, ranking fighters by their damage, kill power, defense, speed, weight, neutral game, and recovery. But these stats aren't all created equally. In fact, nothing in Smash is really all that straightforward. Everything is up for debate. And that's really how the Smash community has gotten its reputation as sometimes the most toxic community on Earth. If we don't cover your main in this video, feel free to yell at us in the comments. We've already prepared ourselves for that ahead of time. The salt actually fuels us at this point. Let's start with not just the best, but the best of the best. Naturally, that's the S tier. If a fighter is an S tier, chances are that they've already won a big tournament. If not, they've at least consistently placed pretty high. S tiers have a lot going on for them outside of tournament results too. They often have great recoveries, they have quick moves and great tools in neutral, on top of reliable kill confirms and many ways to build damage. In this meta, you'll find that rushdown and projectile-based zoners do pretty well. In terms of zoners, few outrank Snake and Olimar. They're the game's premier ranged characters, but they're pretty different from each other. We all know Snake was nerfed, but he still excels at setting up traps and pushing his opponents into them. He's a heavier character that can trade damage with his opponents, and he has super reliable kill options, great recovery, and does a lot of damage. If Snake is a sturdy Nikita missile launcher, Olimar is the glass cannon. He's one of the lightest characters in the game and can easily die if you're not careful. However, he gives better than he gets against most characters. His Pikmin, the purple ones especially, build damage absurdly fast. His great out-of-shield options make it easy to punish overeager opponents, going straight from defense to offense. The weight he loses, he trades for speed, and that makes him great at creating openings and strings. For Olimar, a string of just 3 or 4 hits can tack on over 50%. Both of these characters are top contenders for the best characters in the game, at least right now. They don't have it easy though. The top rushdown characters often push them to their limit. Peach might be the best character in her own right as well. She has insane combo potential off of her turnips and her down tilt. And I just refreshed the tier list and yep, she's still here. Anyway, she can access her aerials on the ground while float canceling, opening up new avenues to combo through too. Her turnip also gives for a zoning option against a lot of characters and lets her play more defensively if she'd like to. Two other great rushdown characters worth mentioning are Pichu and Greninja. While Pichu dominated early tier lists, he's cooled down a bit and hasn't shown as much spark as he used to. He'll likely stay in the S tier and probably won't fall below A tier without nerfs. Meanwhile, Greninja's stock is rising. Greninja mains have been uncovering a lot of cool techniques that bump him up in the meta. It looks like Greninja doesn't need to forget anything to make room for new moves. Pokemon isn't the only franchise killing it in the meta. Fox has ridiculous combo potential and quick smash attacks, and aerials that make his offense one of the strongest in the game. His defense isn't bad either, since he has good options like neutral air. Fox's rival has stepped up to the plate as well. Wolf has just about everything you could want. Great hitboxes? Wolf's got that. A solid range option? Wolf's got that too. Good kill options? Wolf's got that as well. Wolf and Fox can both struggle with recovery and defense at times, but they still play better in disadvantaged state than plenty of mid-tier characters. Now that we've gone through the best, let's tackle the worst. On the opposite end, there's F tier. While F tier sounds pretty bad, the low tier isn't as low as it used to be in Smash. Lots of lower tier characters can make waves and create upsets in tournaments. These are characters that are very unlikely to crack top 8 in a major, but they can put in some work at locals, weeklies, and monthlies. The low-tier characters aren't quite as easy to define as the top-tier ones. Their flaws vary a lot, but tend to run so deep that it's hard for the stats to do any justice. For example, Kirby has great recovery and solid strings, however his lack of damage, kill options, and tools in neutral put him at the very bottom. He's a far cry from his 64 days, and an even farther cry away from his position in the Nintendo canon as the eldritch god of positivity. Sakurai's firstborn son may be the only remaining survivor in story mode, but he's basically one of the worst fighters in the game. On the other hand, Little Mac has pretty good damage options and even better kill moves. However, his recovery and aerials are so poor that he's widely considered the worst character in the game. Despite that, his great ground moves make him excellent against newer players who don't know how to utilize aerials or edge guard. Tweak, one of the best players in the world, criticized his design for just that. The tweet sparked discussion about whether or not the plucky boxer has the worst design in Ultimate. Other F-tiers like Bowser Jr., Isabelle, and Piranha Plant don't have such clear, glaring flaws. Instead, they're just weak all around. They get exploited easily by stronger players because they don't have enough good moves and options to mix up their neutral game. To prove just how far low tiers can go, a King K rule main recently won Australia's largest fighting game tournament. Australia isn't a super strong region in Smash, but the win is still pretty notable. It makes us ask, can King K. Rool get into mid-tier, or are Crocs just buffed in Australia? Now that we've covered the top and the bottom, let's take a brief look at the middle tiers. A through D. There are tons of characters to talk about in these tiers. Instead of covering them all, we're going to focus on some interesting characters in the meta right now. The first 5 to highlight are Bayonetta, Corrin, Cloud, Diddy Kong, and Sheik. These are the old Smash 4 gods that have basically been dethroned, each one receiving significant nerfs that have brought them down to earth. Diddy Kong, Sheik, and Bayonetta struggle to kill. Corrin and Cloud both got nerfed across the board as well. Corrin struggles to do damage, while Cloud's kill options are pretty predictable, and both have pretty bad recoveries. Of the 5, Sheik has the best growth potential right now. She got some nice buffs to her forward air recently, and has had the chance to rise up a tier or two. Top players like Void in the US and AIM in Japan have already shown solid results with a buffed Sheik. On the other hand, it looks like Nintendo wants Bayonetta to stay dead. Honestly, don't bother doing any research on her, really just move on. Since Ultimate isn't even a year old yet, there are a lot of characters with high growth potential. Ice Climbers are one of the most talked about. They have a lot of complex designs that take tons of training to pull off. If you do pull them off, you can cause a lot of damage or even take an early stock. Players have gradually learned how to better control the AI Climber as well. Expect the Ice Climbers to do what they do best and push towards the top. Shulk might also hop up to the top tier as the meta develops. His moves have huge hitboxes, and his Monado arts have godlike potential. There are some characters that could fall in the meta as well right now. Currently, Ike has the tournament results to be an S tier. However, Ike's moves are slow and easier to parry. As people learn how to fight against Ike, the consensus is that he'll fall a tier or 2. Still, his aerial hitboxes are so massive that he shouldn't fall too short. Palutena could drop from S to A tier as well. Part of her fall could come from players figuring out her game plan. Once you learn to respect her neutral air, explosive flame, and down throw combos, she's easier to beat. Although part of her struggle may be in disadvantage. Palutena can't always defend herself well, and that's a big deal in the meta right now, with a lot of great rushdown characters. Lucina has a great chance to fall too, though it's a little bit of a smaller one. She has no real great flaws. She also doesn't have the depth that a lot of top tiers have. Finally, there's Captain Falcon. Though he's as electrifying as ever, he's jankier than ever too. It's hard to land his moves, and they don't hit the right way, and they don't combo properly. Lots of his moves are much slower and weaker than they used to be. Some Falcon players like Fatality argue that he'll have his day once players master the tight timing on his combos. Other players think his janky moves and bad recovery will ultimately make him worse than Ganondorf. Right now, tournament results point to him getting worse. Imagine going from Smash Legend to worse than your Echo Fighter. It's a bad look for Douglas J. Falcon. Pretty much every character on the list is worth discussing, but we know you don't have all day for that. It's time to close the discussion, and there's no better character to do that than Joker. The newest member of the cast, Joker, has Persona fans going wild. The hype looked justified. Joker is doing well in the few tournaments he's been in. There's a lot of depth to his kit too, and his damage potential and recovery look great. He's solidly in A tier right now, but might rise up to S. Now that we've gone over the tier list and some interesting characters within it, there are a few things to say before we go. First and foremost, tier lists aren't everything. Tier lists do exist for a reason, and some characters are better off than others. Still, you can make a ton of characters work in Ultimate. In fact, low-tier characters can even give you an edge. Lots of players will have no idea how to fight unpopular low-tier characters, and that ignorance is your advantage. When you face really good players, you will be challenged, but the challenge may be worth it. If a character helps you love the game and fits your style, they can make your game stronger. Secondly, tier lists are opinions. Even results and aggregated pro opinions don't tell the whole story. If you go into the Smash community, you'll find that everyone has their hot takes and new ideas. If you disagree with where your main ends up, let us know down below. Finally, tier lists and videos like these wouldn't be possible without the awesome dedication of a whole community of players. Smash has lasted 2 decades, and it's in large part because of the huge community of players that support the game. Cheers to all the players documenting frame rates, aggregating tier lists, compiling tournament results, and studying the game. And thank you to all the people who don't spam King K. Rool's blunderbuss online. We salute you. If you guys are interested in getting better at Smash Bros. And you want to take a look at the Zero course, please check out ProGuides.com, where we get you guys better at Smash Bros. That's it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and good luck in your next games.